So this took place only a few months ago, sometime in early July, I want to say. Anyways, my friend was over and had to make a run to Walmart. It was about 9 p.m., not too late, but a time my mother normally wouldn't let me go out and about. But given that I was graduated, me being 18, friend 19, my mom let us go. A quick plan to get garbage bags, something that should have taken 5 minutes tops, ended up taking a half an hour. We got in, got the garbage bags, and walked around for a bit. We just kind of fooled around, browsing and talking, whatever. During this time, I noticed that my friend was acting kind of weird, but I brushed it off. We were standing in line, ready to check out. My friend leaned in close and said, "Do you see that guy?" I glanced up, but didn't know what she was talking about. I still feel really guilty about this for being too dumb to notice. We started walking out after checking out. Buying only garbage bags doesn't take up a lot of time. As we were leaving, she started to explain. There was some dude that said hello, and being polite, she said hi back. We then saw him at the checkout. Both of us being paranoid naturally, we brushed it off. We got in the car and we saw him in the parking lot again. No big deal. Deciding to play it safe, we decided to wait until he left. Turns out, he had a couple of guys with him. They pulled over on our left, leering at us through the car windows. It was nearly dead silent in the car, but I could swear to you, you could hear our hearts frantically beating. Even typing this up, I still get that panic. The car of guys quickly sped over, parking next to us. My friend immediately floored the car, pulling in reverse and speeding out of the parking lot. The guys followed. We honestly thought we were going to die, whether it be from going 80 miles per hour or by a group of creepy dudes. We quickly sped out of there, making a turn on some random road. The car of guys behind us at all times going fast as we were. At one point, they ended up passing us and waving before pulling into a church parking lot ahead and turning around to get behind us again. At this point, we're still going 80 and a 35 and getting closer to my house. Neither of us wanted to lead the guys to our home, so we thought fast. Near my house, there's a little store where you can buy cigarettes, alcohol, and candy. Pretty much a gas station without any gas pumps. We hauled ass back to the store, parking and moving to head in through the back. Now in the back, on the left side is a deli station, and the right side is where the alcohol is. My friend ducked into the deli station and I hid out on the right side. There was a female worker in the deli and my friend made a signal for her to be quiet. The female worker pretended we weren't there at all. A couple minutes pass and we hear the front door open. I peek around the corner and it's one of the guys. I hide out in back, heart racing, hoping he doesn't come back here. Finally, a few more minutes pass and the guy worker from before comes in through the back and tells us that the guys are gone. He chewed them out, and oddly enough, they flat out admitted to stalking us. When the guy worker pretended to be family, they quickly backed off, claiming they were only getting beer. I learned from the female worker that those guys are regulars and are always going on about creepy crap in Spanish, thinking she doesn't know. My friend and I end up hanging out for a little bit just to make sure that the guys weren't hanging around on a street corner. Totally grateful to the guy and girl working there because they were in complete understanding and worried about us. Creepy guys at Walmart, let's not meet again. I live in a military town, so everyone here is either in the military like my husband and I, or they are locals, backwoods, redneck type you find near the Bible Belt. Most of the general population is pretty poor. There's a lot of homeless. I live near a Walmart that I usually go shopping at, and during the day it's filled with your usual Walmart shoppers. At night, however, it's usually full of weirdos. Some normal people there, of course, just trying to grab last-minute groceries, medicine, or whatever, but some people who don't have anywhere else to be go to Walmart because it is open 24/7, so they come to hang out like it's a damn arcade or something. Anyways, it was 11:30 at night, and I realized my daughter was out of formula. I have to make her bottles for the day every morning for daycare, so I had to go get formula before morning. I told my husband I'd be back in a few minutes and drove down the road. In the baby aisle, I grabbed her formula and stopped to look at a cute baby dress for her. I was looking through the baby clothes when I saw someone out of the corner of my eye, and I felt the hairs on my arms stand up. I glanced at him and did a double take. This man was just standing there, just staring at me. He didn't seem bothered by the fact that I'd noticed him either. I did this weird fake laugh and said something like, "Oh, these are cute, huh?" He didn't say anything, just kind of smirked and kept staring. The dude was a few inches taller than me, maybe 5'9", white with long hair, and he looked either homeless or severely down on his luck. I started to get nervous and felt my palms start sweating. I said something dumb about have a good night and just kind of fast walked away, but in my haste to get away from him, I turned left toward the back of the store. I decided to grab a 12-pack of Coke Zero in addition to the formula, and then I decided to get out of there. I hadn't grabbed a cart, so I really couldn't carry much more. On my way back to the front of the store, I heard him shuffling behind me, keeping pace with my speed walking. I tried to calm myself down and just write it off as if he was just going to check out. I got into the 10 items or less line. He got in line behind me. He had no items, but he pulled a candy bar off the shelf and set it on the counter behind my stuff. At this point, I could smell him and he stank like body odor and stale beer. I turned my head away from him and tried to move a little closer to the woman in front of me. He moved closer too. Then I felt something brush my left butt cheek. I turned towards him sharply and said, "Hey." He mumbled an apology. Keep in mind, I am wearing jeans and a baggy t-shirt. Not that it should matter, but I looked like crap is what I'm trying to get at. I turned back towards the counter and the cashier started ringing up my 2 items. 2 seconds later, the man pinched my other butt cheek hard. At this point, I turned around and said very loudly, "Hey, stop touching my ass." He turned red and the cashier froze. She asked if there was a problem. "Yes," I replied. "This guy just pinched my ass and I don't know him and he's creeping me out." She looked unsure of what to do and asked him to please step away from me before she called security. He did wordlessly and then just stood there glaring daggers at me. I pretended I didn't notice and just paid for my things. As soon as he bagged up the stuff, I booked it out of the store. I got maybe 10 steps into the parking lot when I heard the doors open behind me. Panicking, I turned and saw him marching directly toward me. I bolted. My car was 2 lanes away and I yanked out my keys and unlocked it while I ran. I could hear him behind me, grunting and panting. I felt adrenaline kick in and tears in my eyes. I ran, swinging the bag and the case of soda, flung myself into the driver's seat and turned the key in the ignition before the door even shut. I threw it in reverse without looking just as he slammed his body onto the hood of my car and yelled something. I peeled out of the lot at almost 30 miles an hour and he flew off my hood and onto the ground. And I drove the mile home going well over the limit, breathing hard and feeling like I was going to hyperventilate. When I got home, I still had chills. I raced inside and locked the door. My husband wanted to go find him and beat his ass. His solution for pretty much anything, but I just wanted to shut the windows and crawl into bed. I don't know what makes people do the things they do. Do they not realize how terrifying they come off as? I don't even want to leave my house without mace, a taser, and a railgun. It was approaching one of my niece's birthdays, and she's at the age where I think she would appreciate a gift from her uncle. I'm a poor college student with no car, so I commute everywhere and anywhere, knowing that I always take my backpack and headphones anytime I leave my house. So I'm at Walmart and have this care package planned out for my niece. She loves Elsa, so I decided to get her a costume, doll, and candy, all Frozen themed of course. Like I mentioned earlier, any place I travel, I usually have my headphones in. This is kind of a pain to explain, but this detail defines the whole story. Now, I'm so lazy I use a third-party music app instead of the music app included on my iPhone. Unfortunately for me, this requires a good internet connection, and living in rural parts of Denver, my music ends up cutting in and out and then stops playing altogether. Now at this point, I have one item left on my list, and I'm in the toy section of Walmart looking for an Elsa toy that my niece could take care of. As soon as I know it, this mom leaves her 2 children beside me. I'm not sure why, but this has happened before and I have a trustworthy face. Let me tell you all something now. I'm not stupid. There are so many strange things that happen in this world that I would be a fool to leave these 2 children alone. And for the record, I don't know these people at all. Kind of a pain, but I figure it's just me being a good person. I don't even know how people can do this. This is literally a woman leaving her 2 children at a section of the store and telling them to wait there for a short while. Anyways, one girl is around 4 years old and her sister was around 1 to 2 years old. The older sister had one missing crock and her younger sister had pajamas on and a pacifier in her mouth. I felt even more obligated to stay until their mom came back. And I was right. Not even 5 minutes passed since their mom left and some fool came up and started talking to these girls. This tool said all the same generic stuff any pedophile would say. I have lots of toys and candy in my car, and a dog too. He probably thought I wasn't listening because I had my headphones in. But like I said, my music cut out a long time ago. As soon as he mentioned his dog, I immediately made my way up to him. He was crouched down talking to the girl about the stuffed animal she had in her hand. My dog is really big. He's not pink, but he's nice. Would you like to come and meet him? I crouched down and pushed the girl back a few steps. Immediately, the guy moved back a few steps himself. I extended my arm and shook my finger back and forth, gesturing him, "No, not today." I gave the guy a very harsh look, like I knew exactly what he was doing. I just stared at him very attentively. The guy was very short in stature and had short, stringy hair with a tan pilot jacket. He was also wearing some very beat up New Balance tennis shoes. He looked very plain. At this point, I was about to pounce on him and hold him down. I'm not even a big guy myself, I just don't stand for any BS. Before that could happen, he immediately got up, turned right, and headed out to the garden exit. I waited with the little girl and her sister until their mom came back. I said, yeah, you should not leave your children alone. Some guy was talking to one shoe about some generic kidnapped bull. Those were my exact words to her. I mean, there's no denying what just happened. Anyways, I told her she won't be as lucky next time. The mom just shook her head up and down and swallowed any spit that was in her mouth in a very harsh gulp. I don't know if something bad would have happened if my music had not stopped playing. Let's just say neither one of those girls could barely speak. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end. I really hope this scared you all. Which one do you think was the scariest? And as always, if you want to see more scary content, make sure to smash that subscribe button.